The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, 56 degrees at 11:40. I'm Mario Bosquez. Here's what's happening.
I heard a sound like a boom, and I see a small van on the sidewalk. There was somebody under the car, somebody lay on the ground.
10 people, 8 of them pedestrians, injured in a midtown accident after a box truck hits a parked van, sending it onto the sidewalk. A shocking find and heartbreaking newborn at a subway station being called a miracle on 34th Street. Governor Hochul making the announcement Metro North soon to expand to Albany. The federal appeals court says yes, the Trump administration can send members of the Oregon National Guard to Portland. While Portland keeps being, well, Portland. A benefit reading of Moonstruck is a star-studded, one-night only, a real-life husband-wife team playing the leads. AccuWeather tonight, diminishing wind, clearing cool, low 51 degrees. The Rangers lose. Blue Jays beat the Mariners, face the Dodgers game 1 of the World Series Friday. Wins News Time 11:41. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Kelly Dillon.
We've got an overturned car on the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound. It's blocking the left lane as you exit onto 15E for Route 109 in Newark. So that ramp backing up through the area. We are very crowded in Queens on the Van Wyck Expressway, both directions at Hillside Ave tonight. 2 lanes of construction work now here. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. The westbound Northern State closed indeed toward typical overnight construction from exit 38 through 36 in Oyster Bay. So avoid the area. You can head to the LIE, which is moving fine, and no trouble on the Southern State. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The George Washington Bridge, nice and quiet right now. Just keep in mind inbound, the lower deck is closed for construction, but no backup on the upper deck. Lincoln Tunnel, we have 1 tube out, no backup though in either direction. And the Holland, each way now 1 lane of construction setting up and only about a 10-minute wait, luckily, each way. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Several hurt when a box truck slams into a van in Midtown, sending it into several people on the sidewalk.
10 people are recovering in the hospital. 8 of those people were pedestrians walking along 8th Avenue when a box truck struck a parked car that ricocheted onto the sidewalk, striking them. Mamadou was working in a nearby parking lot.
Come running at them trying to help out. So that's what I saw first.
Police say they're still investigating, but they don't believe there was any criminal activity involved in this accident, and the driver of the box truck did stay on scene. Mamadou was one of the people who picked up the phone and called 911.
I even tried to call.
2 people sitting inside the box truck also were taken to the hospital. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Chelsea.
The final sit-down of our 1010 Wins mayoral interview series is a wrap with someone who spent most of his life in the political spotlight, city and state.
Andrew Cuomo refers to Zohran Mamdani's big ideas like freezing the rent and making buses free as cute lines.
And he has no capacity to actually implement or manage anything.
He calls democratic socialism the death penalty for the party and is worried that Mamdani will be anti-business.
I should be the chief marketing officer as mayor saying to businesses, we want you here, we want to grow with you here. Tell me how we can partner.
When asked about his plan for dealing with the mental health crisis, Cuomo cited his ability to get the homeless off the subways during COVID. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
You can see all the mayoral candidates' interviews at 1010wins.com, 1010 Wins social media pages. Meantime, mayoral candidate Mamdani unveils a new policy for scaffolding.
We are going to remove all sheds that have been up longer than 3 years on city property. It is time for the city to show itself as the leader in this fight. There are hundreds of those sidewalk sheds that are within our control as city government that we could actually bring down. It will be my administration that does so.
At a press conference today, the second debate between Queens Assemblyman Mamdani, former Governor Cuomo, Republican Sliwa, to be held Wednesday, 7 p.m. Early voting starts Saturday. Full coverage here on 1010 Wins. A heartbreaking mystery for the NYPD as they try to identify who left a newborn baby girl abandoned near a subway platform in Penn Station during rush hour.
Police say the newborn girl was found at 9:30 a.m., conscious and alert, wrapped in a blanket in the stairwell leading to the northbound number 1 train. Susan Lee of South Orange expressed sympathy and concern for the mother.
right? Like, how desperate are you? I'm a mom. My baby's 16 months. I can't even imagine what she was going through.
This visitor from California was glad the infant was okay.
It's just very disturbing, and something needs to be changed because we just can't keep having these incidents. It's really scary.
Investigators are looking over station surveillance video to identify who left the baby. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Penn Station.
Governor Hochul announcing today Metro North extending to Albany next year.
It's also more than just addressing an urgent problem, it's keeping a promise. When we implemented congestion pricing, I vowed that we had to do so much more to make it easier to get to and from Manhattan without a car. Now, if we're asking people to drive less, they need to have more reliable alternatives.
The system to be offering once-a-day round trips between Grand Central and the Capital Region, launching this spring, in effect competing with Amtrak. A shocking attack in Chinatown. Police say a man punches a 10-year-old and an older woman after the child skateboard bumped into him. The search for the suspect goes on after Sunday's attack just after 7 in the morning near East Broadway and Market Street when the woman, 71, and the boy, 10, were crossing the street. The woman with a lacerated lip, the boy facial and pain redness, both hospitalized stable. There's an image of the suspect you can see at 1010wins.com. A federal appeals court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to deploy members of the Oregon National Guard to Portland while a legal challenge moves forward. Meantime, Portland can continue being, well, Portland.
Following the Ninth Circuit's ruling, the president acted within his power by federalizing the National Guard. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield issued a statement saying if the ruling is allowed to stand, it would give the president unilateral power to put soldiers on our streets with almost no justification. In her dissent, Judge Susan Graber said there is no legal or factual justification to support the federalization, noting Portlanders' penchant for protesting in chicken or inflatable frog costumes or nothing at all. Heather Roberts for CBS News, Portland, Oregon.
An alleged hazing incident at a local university.
Rutgers has issued a statement offering support to the student's family and says the fraternity involved has been placed under a cease and desist order and is now on disciplinary probation. Alpha Sigma Phi says it's still gathering evidence, but if it's determined hazing is what left the undergrad in critical condition, the chapter will be closed permanently, and any student found to be involved will be expelled from school. The 19-year-old was found unresponsive last Wednesday, but they haven't said what caused his injuries. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
While serving an over 4-year prison sentence, John Diddy Combs' legal team intending to appeal his conviction. This according to a notice filed today in New York's federal district court. Combs was convicted of 2 counts of prostitution-related charges. After an 8-week trial in July, the jury acquitted him of the sex trafficking racketeering charges he faced. No details evident in the filing. During a meeting with Australia's Prime Minister at the White House, the president was asked about the fragile ceasefire deal.
President Trump says the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is still in place, even though there was renewed violence over the weekend.
They got very rambunctious and they did things that they shouldn't be doing.
He said they'll give them a little chance, and if they don't abide by the deal,
they'll be eradicated.
But he said that doesn't mean U.S. boots on the ground.
No, it won't be on the ground at all. We don't need to because we have many countries, as you know, signed on to this deal.
Stacey Lynn, another Supreme Court case on gun rights.
It's the latest firearm case to come before the court since its 2022 decision expanding gun rights. President Donald Trump's administration is asking the justices to revive a case against a Texas man charged with a felony because he allegedly had a gun in his home and acknowledged being a regular marijuana user. Defense attorneys got the charge tossed out after an appeals court largely struck down a law that bans guns from users of illegal drugs under the high court's more expansive view of the Second Amendment. The Republican administration favors Second Amendment rights, but government attorneys argued that this ban is a justifiable restriction. Arguments probably will take place early in 2026, with the decision likely by early summer. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
Today, lawyers for embattled former FBI Director James Comey urging a judge to throw out the case against him, calling it vindictive prosecution. The indictment accusing Comey of lying to Congress 5 years ago. He has pleaded not guilty.
I'm in love with you.
Snap out of it!
The slap heard across the movie world. Remember that? Well, Moonstruck again with a real-life married couple taking the lead in a very special benefit reading. We'll tell you about that, but first. Wednesday's time at 11:51 is Get You Where You Need to Go with Kelly Dillon.
Bumper-to-bumper delays in Queens on the Van Wyck both ways at Hillside Ave tonight. 2 lanes down for construction each way here. In Midtown, we're slow on the northbound FDR Drive with the lane of roadwork setting up. The west side moving fine. In the Bronx, southbound Deegan is bumper-to-bumper into the 230s with a lane of construction. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We've got road work now at the Queens Midtown Tunnel, both directions at a standstill as a lane is closed each way. The Queensboro Bridge, it is better. The Queensbound RFK Bridge also at a standstill on the Queens span tonight with a lane of road work. Head to the Whitestone or the Throgs Neck and the Brooklyn Bridge, a quiet ride both directions now. Kelly Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist John Ferry.
Pretty standard October week weather-wise across our region. We'll see wind diminish as we head through the night tonight. Sky clearing out down into the mid-40s in most suburbs, 51 in Midtown. And then tomorrow's probably the nicest day of the week. We'll have sunshine and some clouds up to 67. Then we'll see a few showers out there tomorrow night. I think it'll last into the morning commute on Wednesday. Down to 55 tomorrow night. And then clouds break for some sunshine Wednesday. Breezy up to 64. A little bit cooler, but dry for Thursday and Friday. Some sunshine Thursday, I-59. Friday, partly sunny, the high right around 60. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist John Ferrick on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
I'm in love with you.
The slap heard across the movie world. Moonstruck, with a real-life married couple taking the lead in the reading. A benefit of Moonstruck reading is a star-studded one-night-only event starring married couple Rose Byrne, Bobby Cannavale, as Loretta Castorini, Ronnie Camerari, played in the film, of course, by Cher and Nicolas Cage. This time also starring Patti LuPone. November 10th, 8 p.m. at the Music Box. Proceeds to New York Stage and Film. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
The Trump administration today furloughing 1,400 workers at the Energy Department's National Nuclear Security Administration. That's the agency that maintains and secures our stockpile of nuclear weapons. That leaves just about 400 workers to, quote, support the protection of property and the safety of human life. Wall Street rallied today to kick off the new week on rising hopes that U.S.-China trade talks, which resume later this week, will result in some kind of tariff and trade deal. That sent all the major averages up more than 1%. The Dow today up 516. The NASDAQ up 311. The S&P up 71. I'm Tom Busby. Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins.
They're always on top of breaking news.
It's vital to know what's happening. It's local first.
1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
AccuWeather this morning, clearing cool, low 51. Keep it here for the latest from AccuWeather.
WINS FM in HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins and from any other radio station in the nation. John Davis, service aide. Walter Geis, editor's desk. I'm Mario Bosquez.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
56 degrees, clear at 12 midnight on this Tuesday, October 21st. I'm Lane Bajardi. Here's what's happening. 10 people injured after a box truck slammed into a van, sending it onto a midtown sidewalk. Zoran Mamdani outlines a plan to get scaffolding down as Andrew Cuomo sits down for his 1010 Wins candidate interview. Search continues for the mother of a newborn baby girl found abandoned in a Penn Station subway stairwell. Presidential envoys in Israel trying to get the Hamas ceasefire back on track after both sides broke the peace. No baseball for the remainder of October in the Bronx, but Yankee Stadium is going to be hosting a golf event in a few weeks. Sports, speaking of baseball, the Blue Jays win ALCS Game 7 and will face the Dodgers in the World Series. The Rangers lose. AccuWeather says clear, cool, low 51 in Midtown overnight, mid-40s, northern and western suburbs. Sunny to partly cloudy later today. Pretty nice. High 67. Wins News Time, 12:01. Let's get you where you need to go with Jeff Jensen.
And Lane, we start in Queens with the heavy ride on the westbound side of the LIE with construction work approaching Utopia Parkway, approaching exit 23. Delays back to the Clearview. Really heavy there. You might want to get off the Clearview and take it down to the Grand Central. Use that going westbound. There's also some eastbound work Not as busy, but eastbound just a bit busy right there by the Clearview. Again, take the Grand Central Parkway instead. Van Wyck, overnight work both ways into Atlantic Avenue. Jennifer, about a mile each way, bumper to bumper. Try the service road instead. In the Bronx, there's construction on the southbound Deegan. Right around 230th Street, a couple of lanes around. Cars can try the Bronx River Parkway instead. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Northern State Parkway, a new closure this morning. It's westbound starting at exit 37A. They force you off to the LIE. Can't get back onto the left or south Oyster Bay Road, but stay on the expressway. It's fine. The Southern State moves along with no issues, and here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Not bad at the Lincoln Holland GWB, just tough trying to get to the Lincoln to some work on the inbound side of 495. Jeff Jensen, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Midtown mayhem, 10 people injured.
10 people are in the hospital after a box truck speeding down 8th Avenue strikes a parked van, sending it onto the sidewalk in Midtown. 8 of those victims were pedestrians that were on the sidewalk. Mamadou says he saw it all happen.
I heard a sound like a boom, and I see a small van on the sidewalk. So there was somebody under the car, somebody lay on the ground. But she come running at them, trying to help out.
He says he was one of the people who picked up the phone and called 911.
Yeah, screaming, what's going on? Because it was too loud to bang everybody outside trying to help out.
Police tell us at this time they don't believe any criminal behavior was involved behind this accident. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Chelsea.
Now to the mayor's race, Andrew Cuomo stopping by the 1010 Wins newsroom for the latest in our extended conversations with the candidates.
When Zoran Mamdani says what Andrew Cuomo lacks in integrity, he could never make up for in experience, Cuomo says
he's very good at cute lines. He's a great showman.
Cuomo seems scared of what a Mamdani administration could look like because of lack of experience and a fear of what the city is becoming.
I think people are leaving. I think it's much worse than people think. And I think this democratic socialist is the death penalty for the Democratic Party.
He says there's been an anti-business mentality. And when it comes to affordable housing, Cuomo wants to rebuild NYCHA buildings that have fallen into disrepair. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
You can see the full conversation with our Susan Richard across 1010 Wins social media, 1010wins.com. Meanwhile, Zoran Mamdani getting support from other electeds for his plan to reduce the number of sidewalk sheds, trying to fix what he says Mayor Adams didn't.
Proceeded to get rid of fewer than 400 of them, which is less than half of 1% of all scaffolding in New York City. I want to succeed where he failed, and I want to succeed by building on the legislation that Councilmember Powers and Botcher shepherded through to actually bring light back into New Yorkers' lives.
Despite that similar efforts, the average scaffolding has been up over 500 days now, over 1,000 up for more than 3 years. Many of the longest-lasting sidewalk sheds are actually up around city-owned property. A newborn baby girl found abandoned in the subway stairwell at Penn Station. Search continues for her mother.
Detectives were seen looking for additional evidence in the stairwell leading to the northbound number 1 train where the baby girl was found conscious and alert, wrapped in a blanket around 9:30 in the morning. Commuters we spoke to were stunned.
I mean, what mother would be driven to do that?
It's heartbreaking, you know. I would never do this to my child.
It's all the way. Take it to a church. There's places you can actually safely leave that baby.
The infant was taken to Bellevue Hospital for evaluation, and police are hoping surveillance camera video will lead them to the person who abandoned her. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Penn Station.
Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs filed a notice of appeal looking to toss his conviction and sentence. A move that was largely expected. Combs convicted of 2 counts of prostitution-related charges, sentenced to 50 months in federal prison. Notice of appeal did not include actual arguments for the appeal. Diddy's attorneys previously lost the argument that the statute he was convicted under should actually not apply to his crimes. An investigation underway in New Brunswick into a possible fraternity hazing incident that sent a Rutgers student to the hospital.
The 19-year-old undergraduate student was found unresponsive in the early morning hours of Wednesday and remains in critical condition. Rutgers says the fraternity involved, Alpha Sigma Phi, has been placed on disciplinary probation, and the frat itself says if the injuries are believed to have been caused during a hazing incident, the chapter will be closed permanently, and anyone found to have been involved will be kicked out of school.
As Sherry Preston reporting, the Middlesex County prosecutor is handling the investigation. Two of President Trump's representatives in Israel attempting to restore the ceasefire deal, which has already been breached.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about developments in the region. The visit comes a day after the fragile deal faced its first major flare-up as Israel threatened to halt aid transfers, and Israel's military killed at least 45 Palestinians, many of them children, in strikes across Gaza. Israel claimed Hamas killed 2 Israeli soldiers, which the militant group denies. The Israeli military said it resumed enforcing the ceasefire late on Sunday and that aid deliveries would resume on Monday through multiple crossings. I'm Karen Shamas.
First, it was the launch of the fastest Metro North Express trains from the city to Poughkeepsie ever. Next up, Metro North service from Grand Central beyond Poughkeepsie to the Capital District. Governor Hochul with the announcement. New MTA service to Rhinecliff, Hudson, and Albany Rensselaer once a day to pick up the slack for Amtrak service that's been reduced up the Hudson.
We're going to continue devoting our time and energy to giving New Yorkers exactly what they deserve. But today's a big start. December 1st, we'll have the first trains going, as I said, and then starting next spring, Metro North is going to find their way beyond Poughkeepsie all the way up to the capital region.
All they do have to do is stay on the track and keep going north. 56 degrees, going down to 51 in Midtown. Kenny Loggins in the news tonight. He's got a beef with President Trump using his music. We will tell you about that, but first... Wins News Time 12:11. Let's get you where you need to go with Jeff Jensen.
Let's rock and roll. Here's the story in Queens. Some very slow traffic at the southbound Van Wyck up by Northern Boulevard with construction work there. And then there's only one lane open each way into Atlantic Avenue, bumper to bumper there. Northbound to left lane. Looks like southbound. I can't quite tell, but it looks like it's also the left lane there. And only one lane open on the eastbound. Actually, well, one lane blocked on the eastbound LA, but the Clearview, not that busy. And we've eased out, even though they're working westbound, approaching Utopia Parkway as a 23. I would still stick with the Grand Central Parkway instead. A better ride awaits you there. The ride in the Bronx is slow one on the Deegan southbound construction near 230th Street, Sawmill, and the Bronx River Parkway, your alternates, and they're moving well. Some road work in Westchester on 95 northbound to New Rochelle southbound from Mamaroneck to Larchmont, exit 18A to 17, and not too bad in Connecticut. Some slight slowdowns through Stamford with overnight repairs. The Merritt is better. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Not bad. Lincoln, Holland, and GWB are all doing well. No work at the George. Looks like the lower levels definitely closed inbound. You've got some work in 495 trying to get to the Lincoln Tunnel. So inbound, there's some slowdowns there right by Palisade Avenue with a couple of lanes out. Jeff Jensen, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast, meteorologist Matt Rindy.
For the early morning hours, it will be clearing and cool. We'll have a low down to 51, but mid-40s in many northern and western suburbs. And later today, it'll be sunny to partly cloudy. A nice afternoon with